founder and president of the Institute for Governance and Sustainable Development, and joins me now. So the concern is this belt of rain that's moving across Australia and Asia, which seems to be much heavier than normal. How far is climate change a factor in that?
Well, when you warm the atmosphere, you allow it to hold more moisture. That's number one. That's your basic physics. And so we know that there will be more precipitation, and it'll be shifting. It'll be shifting in terms of geography. It'll be shifting in terms of time. And so it will disrupt agriculture. It'll disrupt our infrastructure, both of which were designed for a much more stable climate. Now, just look at the connections between the Arctic sea ice. This is another climate phenomena where we melt the reflective sea ice, and that changes the Indian monsoons, for example. So climate change is largely responsible for these extreme flooding events. And we will see worse and worse if we don't slow down warming in the near term. And there is a way to do that, and that's by cutting methane and the other short-lived superpollutants, even as we also cut carbon dioxide by shifting to clean energy. So methane is the single biggest and fastest way to slow down our warming. And if you cut the methane, you can get almost half of the rate of climate change slowed down.
And we know that climate change, as well as being responsible for heavy rains and flooding, is also responsible for wildfires and heat waves and some of that other side of the extreme weather that we've been seeing in some parts of the world. And clearly, if we can do something about global warming and getting those greenhouse gases down, we can also deal with that.
Absolutely. So floods and then droughts. So different parts of the world, including the Southwest United States, are suffering the worst drought in 12 centuries. And the wildfires are getting worse because the drought-prone areas dry out your vegetation. You get more lightning strikes as well. And so more wildfires. Those put up carbon dioxide when trees and vegetation burns, and also black carbon soot. Very strong, short-lived climate pollutant, and also very bad for your health because it gets into your lungs and it can actually make you sick and kill you.
We seem to be reporting more and more on these kinds of extreme weather events. We also report on the measures, the steps, the pledges that are being made by governments to do something about it. Do you feel that the world is acting fast enough and going far enough to deal with this issue?
It's not going fast enough. It's not going far enough. I mean, and we have the additional problem of Putin's war in the Ukraine, which has not only blocked the grain shipments, as you were reporting a moment ago, but has also cut off the fossil fuels, including natural gas, to Europe. And that means that the world and Europe and the US and other countries have been scrambling to provide more fossil fuels for Europe. And that is going against our efforts on climate change. So as we do that, we need to make sure that any replacement fossil fuels have the minimum leak rate for methane. That's the minimum we should be doing right now. And then we need to do much more as we approach the Egyptian-hosted COP27, the 27th negotiations for our climate treaty. And that means that agreement that is negotiated in Sharm el-Sheikh needs also to include fast mitigation on the short-lived super climate pollutants led by methane.
Durwood, great to speak with you. Thank you very much indeed. Durwood Zaelke there.